Hello my people on a day, it's your boy Obiking and welcome back again to my channel Obiking News. Guys, I'm going to make a breakdown of the recent interview Rufai Oseni had with Peter Obi. So make sure to watch it to the very end, you understand? And if you enjoyed it, make sure to subscribe to this channel, turn on your bell notification because I'll be bringing you more exclusive breakdowns like this. So guys, before I start, I just want you guys to know that I'll be looking more into my book because I actually wrote these things down, so I will be able to get exactly what I wrote down. I don't want to say things offhand so that I will not make mistakes, you understand? So you have to bear with me, you get. So Rufai started by asking him this question. He said, you criticized Tinubu about his policies about subsidy and floating the naira, whereas you yourself, Peter Obi, said you will do this same thing if you were elected as the president of Nigeria. You get. So Peter Obi had this to say. Peter Obi said, I'll remove fuel subsidy, but we'll do it in an organized manner. You understand? So his issue is not about the subsidy that was removed. His issue is because it's on how the subsidy was removed. If you remember, when Tinubu was inaugurated as the president, he was right there. He said it right there on the podium that subsidy is gone. And from that day, I remember clearly that the prices of fuel and the commodities started going up. You get. So he also said that everybody knows that subsidy removal was just a way to steal. He said everybody knows this. So for him to say this, it means he has evidence. Everybody knows that subsidy removal was just a way to steal. You get. So he said now, we were told that the subsidy removal was a way for us to save, as in for the for the federal government to save money. Now he's asking, where is the money? All this money that was saved, where he did? Where he did? Then Rufai made him understand that okay, that this money that was removed, that he feels like this money was given to the state governors. They used it to increase their state allocations. Because if you remember, there were times that there was some time ago that state governors were very happy that their allocations have increased from what it used to be before. You understand? Then Peter Obi now made him to understand that it doesn't work that way. That is not how it should have been done. That since they were removing subsidy, that what they should have done was that keep that money somewhere and identify a particular project that they will use that money to fund, and not just sharing it among state governors, whereas they know that at the end of the day it is just a way to siphon all this money. You get. So that was what Peter Obi said about it. Then about floating the naira. Peter Obi said there's nothing wrong with floating the naira. You can only do it when you have productivity. That is what Peter Obi said, that floating the naira is actually okay, but you can only float the naira when you as a country you have enough productivity, you produce a lot of things that you export. You understand? So that is the reason why it is not working for Nigeria, because we don't export anything. You get. Now Rufai capitalized on that answer and said, and now asked him how he intended to increase productivity in Nigeria, since there was insecurity and there is no power. Because you know, for you to be a productive country, there have to be security in your country, and that there also have to be power, because a lot of all productions, you know, have to do with power. You need light to be able to for your machines to be functional to produce. You get. Now this is what PO said. That man, they very smart. He said that this is what Tinubu should have focused on first before talking about subsidy, before removing subsidy and making life hard for Nigerians. You get. Trust me now, that man, he always gets answers to every single question that you ask him. Rufai now asked him this question. He said, how will you have solved the insecurity issue in Nigeria, since this insecurity has lasted for over 10 years now? This is the answer Peter Obi gave to this very strong and important question. He said, known state actors cannot take over a country. What he's saying is, in essence, is that an ordinary person like me and you that is watching me now, cannot hold this country captive. We cannot fund insecurity. It's not possible. So what he's saying is that there are people, state actors, people in government, people in political places that have power, that they are so many of them are the ones funding this insecurity. You get? So which means that they need to be looked into. They need to be looked into to figure out, they need to be investigated to figure out the people that are instigating all those insecurity, the people that this insecurity is putting a lot of money in their pockets. So they need to be figured out. And once they figure them out, all these things will be a thing of the past. You understand? So that is his answer to all this. But then, Rufai is a very smart guy. Rufai now made a reference to about P2B when he was governor of Anambra State, because if you remember, there was this time there was rumor about this Okuzu SARS killings and stuff. You get? He asked him, okay, because he was the governor that time, and such insecurity and stuff happened under his own watch. You get? But then P2B said all those things are lies. That it is not actually, that people are taking it out of proportion. Say no be wetin happen. People they talk about. You understand? So that is what he said. Now, about this one that is always flying around, Rufai asked him about the Pandora paper issue, because all these APC urchins, whenever they want to talk about P2B, the first place they go to is about the Pandora. They say this man that stole money, and then that his name is in the Pandora papers and all that thing. So this is the answer P2B gave. P2B said the Pandora was for inheritance purposes. Inheritance purposes. And it started in the 90s. In the 90s, he said 1995, 1996 or thereabout. That was what he said. You get? And that he was saving there. He was saving there. That is, savings he was making there were proceeds. Proceeds from what he was making from his business then when he was in the UK. You get? These are like, you are saving every month. You bring out a small amount from your savings, and then you just put it somewhere, make it a save for there, for inheritance purposes. So that it has nothing. That all this thing was in the 90s, and he became governor in which year? 2018. And that all these things he declared it. He declared it that people were just kind of taking it out of proportion, that he had $500 million and all that, that he actually declared it. And that is even the reason why they got all those informations. And that, for your information, that he has been investigated, the EFCC, all those financial crimes and commissions and all those things, that they've actually investigated all those things and they found nothing. You get? So all those other ones where people they talk now just mere propaganda. You get? Now, the burning one that people always talk about, they will say the only thing he brought to Anambra State is brewery, that he wants the Anambarians to get drunk. You understand? That is the thing that Breno Mokri and his likes used to say about Peter Obi, that he just brought only brewery, which is nothing. He is nothing. Then Peter Obi now, in his calm voice, now gave a response. He said, if you go to Enugu State, that that what generates the most revenue for the Enugu State government is Ama Brewery. That is also a brewery. That is what generates the most revenue for that Enugu State. But nobody talks about it. You get? Nobody talks about it. Then he made reference again to Nigerian breweries. He said Nigerian breweries in Ogun State is very big, way bigger than what is here, what he even did in Anambra State. But people don't talk about it. And all those things actually generate a lot of revenue for the government. But people don't talk about it. But for propaganda's sake, they will always make references to his own. And then he said that, for your information, that company employs over 500 people and feeds over 5,000 individuals in the state. So for someone to be an employer of labor of 500 direct people, do you know what that thing is? Then indirectly over 5,000 people, because there are people around that company that make sales. There are people that this company give their goods and services to, that sells. So it feeds so many families. So for you to say that, and people just say they get drunk. This company does not make only beer. This company makes malt. They make malt. They make what do they call it, juice. They make all these things, but people just believe that because it's a brewery, then now only beer, then they do. That is shallow thinking of all these APC urchins. So know what to tell them anytime they come for you. They come for P2B. May not give them gbas. You understand? Now, there is this one that trended recently about Sanwo-Olu, because Sanwo-Olu talking down on P2B and saying that P2B brought poverty to Anambra State. You understand? There was this interview, this press conference P2B attended, I think, in the US, and then he talked about poverty. Sanwo-Olu then took it upon himself to address it and then said that P2B actually brought poverty to Anambra State. And he said it not because he had details, but because he has been seeing it on social media that people were just throwing it around. You know, when they throw it around, they just hope it sticks. You get? Now, P2B gave him the response he needs. He said, and I quote, Nigeria was a signatory to global measure of development. You understand? Which is Millennium Development Goal. The same route, that thing was the same way that all these advanced countries, China, India, and so many other countries, used to bring their people out of poverty in their country. You understand? He said this thing was signed by the Nigerian government in the year 2000. That was several years before he became a governor in Anambra State. And in the year 2000, I think P2B was even still in the UK. He was not even in Nigeria yet as at that point in time. You get? So he then noted that that goal, that initiative that the federal government signed on how to bring people out of poverty, that the Nigerian government was a signatory to, ended in 2014. It started in 2000 and ended in 2014. You get? And then he said, after it ended, that Anambra State was #1 in Nigeria. So which means that for them to be awarded the #1 in Nigeria, it means that a lot of people were brought out of poverty in his state. So why would Sanwo-Olu say that when it is on record, it was signed, something that he did not start, he did not end, it was there before he came in, and these people awarded him #1. So which means that everything that Sanwo-Olu said is what? Is a lie. You get? So he countered that one outside. He keep that one go one side. Now, P2B said he has one regret. He said he has a regret. You understand? And this is unlike him, because he hardly says things like this. But he said he has one regret. And what is his regret? He said not investing in the media. He said the regret he has is not investing in the media. But upon saying he regrets not investing in the media, he also said that it is probably because of his concern of giving out money, giving out government money. You understand? Because to invest in the media, you still have to use money to invest in the media. And as a sitting governor, for you to invest in the media, you have to use government money to invest in the media. Like, you know, when you make projects, it is the media that will come and cover it, show it to the world. You pay them. You understand? And all these things, he will use the state government money to do all these things. So he did not think it was necessary at the time. You understand? So that is what he said about that one. Another question that Rufai asked him was, he said, you left Anambra and it was still not developed. No beautiful structures. You get? That was according to, you know, what Rufai said he saw online, and then that people were saying about Anambra State. So he had to put it in the question to him that he left Anambra State and there is still that it looks like it's not developed. Like there's no beautiful buildings, no skyscrapers, and all that. You get? So P2B answered again. He said, I got certified by the Ministry of Works for the best road network for opening up all the rural areas. Being developed is not all about building skyscrapers. That it's about opening up places for people to get access, to move around. That alone is a big development, because as at his own time, this was what people needed the most at that point in time, because most times you have to work with what is realistic at that point in time. So that what he did, the development he gave that time was what his people needed then. So he had to do those ones first before talking about skyscrapers and all those things. You cannot be building skyscrapers when your people don't even have access to that skyscraper that you are building. They don't have access to the skyscraper you are building, and you are building it. How would they be able to come to the skyscraper? So saying he did not develop, whereas he was given a certificate, the whole Nigeria, for the best governor with, you know linking roads from the urban to the rural area. So he just gave that one as an example. That's not the only one. You understand? So he cleared his doubts in that side. So Rufai came again and told him that Soludo built a government house, which means that P2B did not build any. You get, recently, Tinubu came and inaugurated, Abi, Shebi, I'm right now, and opened up the new government house and some other projects that he came to commission some weeks ago in Anambra State. Now, P2B gave him an answer. He said, there was no government house when I came in. Yes, because when P2B, before P2B came in, Anambra State was tough, very, very tough. You understand? So then during the time of Mbadinuju and Ngige, there is always fighting and all those stuff. So when P2B came in, there was no government house. Government house, the government house was burnt down. The government house was burnt down. It was in ashes. Uh, there was no lodge. There was no even house of assembly then. So P2B said, I was coming from my village. He used to come to Oka, to the office from his village, Agolo. Then after that, he had to move to Onitsha. You get? He had to move to Onitsha. So he started coming from Onitsha to the government house. Then he started renovating that government house. He started renovating it. So the one, because when Soludo came into power, he was not sitting in thin air. He was not living in his personal house, and he also was not living in a hotel. So he was actually staying somewhere. That place he was staying was built by P2B. And you guys forget that after P2B, before Soludo, there was another 8 years in between, which somebody was the governor that time. 8 years in between, somebody was actually the governor that time. So this other governor did not build any of all these things. You understand what I'm saying? And even before P2B, there were also governors. So P2B actually renovated, and he needed somewhere to be staying first. So he had no time because of things on ground. He said schools were in bad states. Schools were in bad states then, because that time was when there was always strike. During the time of before Ngige and during the time of Ngige, there was always strike. So many schools, classrooms were in dilapidated states. So he needed to fix all those things first. And he knew that he cannot be building all these massive, massive government structures, whereas schools, they're important, hospitals, all these things were in a mess. So he just did what he could do. Since he could manage, this is personal one, he can actually manage and be staying somewhere while he focuses on more on what is more important. So I think he answered that question. You get? Now, Rufai asked another one. He said, people say you did not leave any money. P2B always said that he left money in so places, this, that. P2B now said, Obiano that he left the money for never said he did not leave any money. So the people that are saying he did not leave any money are just people, group. These people will come, say their own. This person will come, say their own. But the person that he actually left the money for have never come outside to say that this man did not leave any money. You understand? So until Obiano comes and says, okay, you P2B, you did not leave any money, then we can talk about that one. You get? And he repeated again. After saying all those things, he repeated by saying it again. He said that in Access Bank, he left 12 billion naira, $50 million. In Diamond Bank, he left 12 billion naira and $50 million. Then in Fidelity Bank, he also left 12 billion naira and $50 million. Remember that time, now Diamond and Access have merged, but that time they were actually two different banks. You get, they were two different banks as at that time. You get, so, and he even said he would give, because he said that he still have a copy of those things for record keeping, that if Rufai wants, he can actually give it to him, and then he will go and make inquiry, and he will go and investigate it by himself. You get, and he also said it to the hearing of everybody that when he left office, he was not owing any contractor 1 naira. He was not owing any supplier 1 naira. That he cleared every single contractor that have finished his job. You know, it's one thing to be working while he left, to still that your job is still on when he left office, that he will not pay you because you have not finished your job, but that every single contractor and supplier that have finished their work and have supplied all their goods, that he paid every single one of them. So he said you can go and make inquiry, or anybody that feels he did not pay him should come. He also said something again. He said that as at when he left, he was not owing any civil servant. He was not owing any civil servant that the state government was supposed to pay, not the federal government. The state government, any civil servant that the state government was supposed to pay, he was not owing them. Any gratuity that the state government was supposed to pay, he paid every single one of them. And any pension, that he paid every single pension. He was not owing anybody pension as at when he left. And he left he left salaries for 3 months. Like, he already knows how much salary that the state government pays every month. So he left the one that is enough to pay for 3 extra months. He's like, he said it, he's challenging everybody. If you say it's a lie, well, yeah, come and prove it that is a lie. So it's another challenge, open challenge. Now you throw give people like that. You get, now Rufai, you know, say that guy know the tire. Rufai came again and said, you want to be president and you cannot even settle the rift in your party. You understand? You want to be president of Nigeria and you cannot settle the rift in your party. And he also said that people are saying that P2B is a one-man show. That anywhere he's going to, only himself, one-man show, one-man show. P2B said this one directly. He said APC is the one instigating this problem in the Labour Party. Yes, he said the government of the day, which is APC, is the one instigating this bringing all this problem in his party. So which means what he's saying in essence is that somehow they don't carry Abure come their side to be spoiling the Labour Party. Now he gave his reason. He said, how can a party chairman call a state governor a dwarf and dwarf thinking? Like, Abure called Alex Oti a dwarf and said that he thinks like a dwarf. How can a party chairman say that if he did not have the backing of the federal government? So that is what he said. And then, talking about him being a one-man show, he said, how is he a one-man show when he toured every single place that people could not tour during the campaign? That he toured every single place. You know, you cannot tour every single. Do you tour every places alone? Do you tour places alone? You don't go on presidential campaign alone. Now you go with people. So how is that's not a one-man show? And remember, he went to every single places that even the ruling party did not go to. You understand? Remember that he does not have the kind of deep pocket that these people have. Yet he toured all these places with his money. You understand? So saying he's a one-man show and a lie, I beg, people should just stop saying all that one. Now, this is another interesting question here. He said, Rufai asked him, people say you don't criticize IPOB. You get, people say you don't criticize IPOB, that they say he does not talk about IPOB. that he tries to, anytime IPOB issue comes up, he diverts. He does not talk about it. And he said it is wrong. He said he criticizes every single uh, act that is wrong in Nigeria, no matter who says it. You get that what he have always maintained is that agitation, that people who are agitating should be, as in, you bring them together and then you dialogue. And I know he has been talking about this IPOB of a thing for a very long time, that the federal government should dialogue with them. That it won't be the first time. Obasanjo did it with Niger Delta. I think Yaradua also did it with the Niger Delta militants. You dialogue with these people, and I think that is the reason why he has not really been talking about it anymore, because he have told the federal government so many times to dialogue with these people. May we know within the sub, may we settle all those things once and for all, you know. And the federal government have refused to do anything about it. So for him, it does not mean he does not criticize them or anything. It's just that the federal government, they don't want to do what they're supposed to. So about the River State issue, he said uh, there's no democracy in Nigeria because uh, he said you can't solve a problem in a democratic setting by going against the rules. So which means that you cannot just impose somebody that is not elected. You remove somebody that was elected and put somebody that they don't know about. The state does not even know him. They don't know anything about him. He's probably not even from the state. And then you bring the person and put to come and be governing them. That it is not democratic at all. So which means that Nigeria does not have any democracy. You get. Now when he said this thing, Rufai now asked him, okay, oh, you are talking about Nigeria not having any democracy. But you personally, you did not conduct any local government during local government election during your tenure, so that you don't have the right to talk about that one since you did not uh, um, conduct any yourself. Now P2B now said, he gave a very clear answer. He said he should go and check the court court records, that this issue was in court, which means he's actually respecting democracy by following the court process. You understand that when he came in, there was so many fights, so many fights, that these people who were fighting him did not want him to conduct a local government election, because they felt that if he did that, he will have kind of access to so many things that he will be able to override them. So they were fighting him from making that doing that local government election. So the case was in court, and it was until he won the court case that he was able to conduct that election, which was now towards the tail end of his tenure. So that was the reason why it took that long, not because he did not want to, but because it was in court and he had to wait for the outcome of the court judgment before he will be able to proceed. So the people should stop saying all those things. You understand? So uh, he said this thing that people used to say, that he says he lives in Onitsha, but all the time he's in Lagos, he's in Abuja. Does he live in the air there? So he stated it categorically that he lives in Anambra State. That is his house. Now where he stays in Lagos is a rented apartment. He pays rent for it, and that when he goes to Abuja, he mostly stays in a hotel. You get. Now, to end it all, he said it boldly. He's telling Nigerians, the obedient, the Labour Party, and every well-meaning Nigerians, that I have all it takes to be president of Nigeria. Nobody has my background. I built a business from the scratch. I have operated in corporate world, and I have been a governor. I transformed the smallest bank into a thriving bank today, which is Fidelity Bank. The day I left office, I was not owing a single person. I saved the most money, and in all this, I did not collect pension. I don't collect gratuity. Anambra State government have never given me pure water since I left the office. So, and again, he now said, to conclude, he said, if you see any piece of land allocated by the state belonging to me, P2B, confiscate it. It's an open challenge to everybody. Open challenge to everybody. So this man is built on integrity. He knows what he's doing. You understand? And there's simply no loopholes to everything he said. At the end of the whole interview, even Ruben Abati, who always looks for ways, to downplay Peter Obi or to make fun of him. You get, even Ruben Abati, gave him kudos. Like Ruben Abati was so happy about this whole thing. You feel me? So my people, what do you think about this whole interview? Do you think Peter Obi said the right things? Do you think that he did not really address every single thing, or you are not convinced enough by every single thing he said? Let's have it right in the comment section. And like I said earlier on, if you enjoyed this video, please do well to subscribe, please do well to drop nice comments, please do well to put on the bell notification, and please do well to share this video. See you in my next video, my people. Peace and love.